This is who I am. This is what I do. This is who I am. I'm the living proof. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is who I am. Who the fuck are you?
Hey guys, and welcome to EAF, Entrepreneurial as Tips for Entrepreneurs Surviving and Thriving, which is especially relevant right now. I am Deanna Kozak. I am in real estate in Southern New Jersey, and this is my co-host, Joel Richardson of Soul Joel Productions, and he also owns brick and mortar that is currently shut down due to the crisis. Soul Joel's Comedy Club and Lounge in Royersford, Pennsylvania. We are coming at you on multiple, streaming channels, wherever you get your podcasts. Download us on iTunes, give us a review, check us out on Soul Joel TV on our YouTube channel, and you can
subscribe.
Also subscribe. Yes, subscribe to Soul Joel TV on our YouTube channel and check out our podcast as well as a whole bunch of other content there, and also subscribe to us on iTunes and give us a review. Today, something that I know a lot of people are struggling with. Joel has struggled with this for 39 years and almost 40 years. Joel's going to be 40 in May. We are going.
All right. We don't have to come out of the gates.
So today we are going to talk about organization. Like I said, I know a lot of people are struggling with it, and I see a lot of videos like, hey Linda, you don't have to be the best quarantiner. But I mean, I personally, I disagree. I find comfort in discomfort. I find opportunity when the sink is shipping, the ship.
Scratch that.
Yeah, let's just glaze over that. The ship is sinking. I try to find opportunity.
Well, I think not only in this time, you also have to make like things to do lists, even though you're quarantined. What I've been doing is still setting an alarm, still getting up and making it part of my routine. And like I said, having a things to do list kind of makes your day more organized, and like you're still, even though you have to stay in the house, you're getting stuff done.
Right. So, being organized, one of those things, like just organizing. If you look at a lot of like articles, which our guest today has written one about, being organized, making your house a haven, that kind of stuff. But and actually she got her start as a professional organizer, just to give you a teaser. But I think when you declutter your life, that's like one of the first 5 things they say to do when you want to be successful is to declutter your space, because that just causes anxiety. It causes low productivity. I think that you've really learned that, how to, declutter and make lists. And, we started to organize all of your finances for your company. When we first started, I'm just going to keep throwing you under the bus.
Yeah. Are we live?
So whenever we started to organize Joel's finances, which came in handy right now because you've had to apply for small business loans and grants and stuff like that. And the first person he texted he's like, hey, Deanna, do you have all those financials handy? So, it comes in clutch. But like when we first started doing it for Joel, he had to go back through like his bank account, and he was like, oof, Chipotle, Wendy's, Wawa. And I was like,
this is some episode.
His food budget was blowing it out of the water. But yeah, I mean, I just think organizing everything and organizing, your space, paperwork, there's a place for everything in its place. Our guest today she's a very big proponent, I know, of using like baskets to put things in. I just think that if people get organized and know how to do that, and she's, going to give us some tips today, and making your space comfortable, it helps you, and not just as an entrepreneur, but also in everyday life. So make lists, get yourself organized, read some articles, listen to our podcast, learn how to organize yourself financially, personally, whatever the case may be. And like you said, making a list, setting that alarm, staying organized is setting that alarm, working out at the same time. And right now, you know, things might flow a little bit differently, but at least, you know, organize your plan for that day and know that's, I think, the most important thing right now is know what you need to do. And for me, I'm organizing stuff like my linen closet, my kids' room. At first they made this like super strict list, but now I just kind of have more of a looser list. Like, okay, in April, I want to get the upstairs done. So every day I just do, you know, as much as I can, whether that's 20 minutes or an hour, however much time the kids allow me, I just organize one area and I just keep taking it step by step. And that's
without further ado, let's bring out our guests.
Yes.
Very excited.
Hello, hello.
All right. This is our guest. This is Carrie Locklyn.
Yes.
Gidge Living, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What other do you have? I know Gidge Living is like your boutique firm. Do you just go by, you know, at Carrie Locklyn or Gidge Living?
Yes, I've kind of, I have Gidge Living more locally, and then at Carrie Locklyn is spelt like the scary movie, and then Locklyn. But that's kind of what I've had a lot of my energy towards at the moment. So that's where you'll find me the most.
Okay. And that's on Instagram or Facebook?
That's everything. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can find me at all. So
another good tip right out the gate.
Oh my goodness.
Streamline. Make it easy.
Streamline. It's like the number one thing. It's every time. And then like put it on your email too. So you keep reminding yourself. You can see it every time you send an email.
Yep. So first of all, I want you to tell people, because I know I waited like an hour or so, or I might even ask you afterwards, what does Gidge stand for?
Gidge stands for Get It Done, Girl. So when and living stands for, because I was obsessed with Martha Stewart, as we all are, right? Right. So that was like kind of a little of an ode to her. But yes, when I started my business in Los Angeles, my whole entire business grew from word of mouth. So people would literally be like, well, call Carrie because she'll get it done. So I started off kind of as a project manager and organizer, and then from there moved into design. But really my business started because if you could not get your to-do list done in your house, or like that bathroom remodel, or organizing your bills, or whatever it be, that's kind of how Gidge Living came to be. And my husband's really good at like naming things. So he actually was the one that was like, you should call it Gidge. So
yeah, I whenever I saw it, I was like, Gidge. I'm like, I can't, is it like a play off of like Gidget, like
a little bit too, because I like have like a little I'm slightly obsessed with like the 1950s 60s housewife as well. Like I play into like cooking and cleaning and all of those things, so it's well-rounded, that name.
Yeah, no, it's super catchy. So you kind of talked about people came to you in LA and all that stuff. Were you always like self-employed? Did you always see yourself as self-employed, or just kind of evolve, or did you have other jobs before that?
Well, I started off, I grew up in New Jersey, and then I started off as a professional dancer. That's actually the first, well, I started off as a waitress, and a busboy. Let me start there. Yeah. Like I started off working at the Seashell shop in Cape May, and then I worked in a restaurant because it's the beach and that's what you do. And thank goodness that I like learned those skills, and I'm so grateful for them. And I had a couple decades in the service industry. But I always had, I was a professional dancer. So I started off traveling, and then I went from New Jersey to New York, and then New York to California. But I always had my dance business. You're kind of your own, you're an entrepreneur because you're trying to build this career. And every day you have to kind of wake up and push towards this goal. And then I was always in the service industry to pay the bills. So
that sounds like every single comedian that works with Joel, or you know, a lot of them, and then they just try to evolve to the point where they can drop the waiting tables, or drop the Ubering, or drop the other thing that's distracting them from doing what they love.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of times I think I kept the restaurant job even when I didn't necessarily have to at times, because it put less pressure on my entrepreneurial goals. So I didn't have to, sometimes I think we can like crush that goal or crush that dream if everything, like if every single dollar comes down to it. So I always kept my service industry job until I absolutely knew like it was, I could do it. And I still didn't know. But as I was in my younger years, I kept that other job as security as to not beat myself up so much in my actual goals, if that makes sense.
Well, no, I always, you know, a lot of people are pivoting right now to have that security blanket, to have that second stream of income, because like, you know, Joel has a brick and mortar place and that got shut down. And when your brick and mortar gets shut down, that's it. That's that. So you have to have another, like you said, security blanket, because some people mentally and physically just, they completely shut down when there's no money coming in.
Yeah. It's tough. The brick and mortars are now, especially just, I mean, my whole industry before design is, you know, dance teachers and dance studios and restaurants and, you know, performance clubs and venues. You know, 90% of my friends are professional dancers who dance on tours, or artists that are on tours, you know, so it's like, where do you, and how do you get back to people going to a Broadway theater sitting, you know, shoulder to shoulder and things like that. So there's a lot of pivoting happening right now. I feel like, I think people are finding interesting ways and figuring out things that they might've been doing in their teenage years and going, how can I turn that into a business now?
Right. How can I teach people how to crochet online?
Yep.
I think, from my understanding, like you, I know, so my mom and I use you for staging. You're amazing.
Thank you.
And you can really do that from, and I think it's really relevant to right now, especially because your design services, like somebody commented on one of my Facebook posts, does she come to West Virginia? And I was like, she doesn't need to come to West Virginia.
Yeah.
And I know my mom loves it. She takes pictures of all the rooms and you stage them. You were even doing this as you were working like 24-hour days.
Yeah.
You were filming Extreme Home Makeover.
Yeah.
Still doing the virtual staging for her, where she sends you pictures of the house and then you make a whole sheet or pages and pages of suggestions on how to stage it. Like put a plant here, move the couch here.
Yeah.
So you were pivoting even before pivoting was cool. And you somehow found time in the day to fit in clients like that when there were no hours left. So try to like, you know, tell me how you came up with like the whole virtual thing before it was cool. Cause I'm always interested in how people kind of have that foresight. And then also, how do you find those extra hours in the day?
Well, that's the money question right there.
Yeah. Are you saving that for your book?
That might be too early in the interview.
Yeah, no, you know, I've always kind of done a little bit of virtual, because when I moved from California back to New Jersey, majority of my clients were Los Angeles based, and they would still want my insight. So I was still doing them, you know, I was still producing design boards and things like that for them. I'm constantly doing that for my friends. And then I started actually doing a little bit of virtual staging with my neighbors, because they would send me pictures before they would put their house on the market. I'm like, no. Change this, and this. They're like, how does this look? I'm like, no, don't change. And then I started to work with you and your mom right before, actually, I think I had just gotten back from the chemistry test when you and I did the one staging.
You were down to like, I forget which.
There was like 5 of us left, and I had done staging with you, and I was like this the entire time. And when I was working with your mom, and then when I went out on the road for Extreme Makeover Home Edition, she emailed me, and I was like, well, I love working with her. I don't want this relationship to go away, because I think the most important thing to know, especially within the entertainment business and any business really, is you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So it's good to keep those certain lines of communication. And if there's somebody that you enjoy working with, I always say you have to figure out a way to continue working with them. So I love your mom. She's amazing and adorable. And she left the car on one time when we were staging a house the whole time. She came out.
If anybody knows my mom, and it's no surprise.
She was so cute about it though. She's like, I left the car on. I was like, this whole time. And she's just one of those women, when you meet her, you're like, oh, this is someone that I enjoy working with, which is really important within the staging realtor business, because it's so personal that you want to, you'll make time for people. I think that's what it is. You'll find the hours in your day to make time for someone that you want to continue working with. So I was literally working all day long. I would come back to the hotel at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I would open up my laptop and be like, they need to move this bed to this corner and get rid of this. And honestly, I think when you love what you do, you'll find time. It's such a cliche thing to say, but
we say it almost every episode. We interviewed my mom for our first.
Amazing!
Yeah, she was like our first interview after we introduced ourselves, because she's the OG.
Yeah,
we were talking about how she used to. Since you know my mom, this will be cute to you. She used to make before like Audible and all this like Gabby Bernstein stuff was a thing.
Yeah,
she used to make her own self-improvement tapes and record herself talking and listen to them on her Walkman.
See, I knew I liked your mom.
Yeah, you're amazing, Donna. You can do it.
Yeah, I love that.
I turned it on one time and it's like, you are great. And I'm like, that's my mom's voice. I'm like, Mom, is it? She goes, yes, it's me talking to myself.
I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, but I totally agree that, we say it every time that if you love what you do, what's that quote? You'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah, I mean, you still work.
That's what I said the one time I went. It still feels like work sometimes. You get tired. Feels
like work. You're still tired. There's still moments where you're like, gosh, what I would do to just sit and not do anything right now. Right. But you want to do it. Like you wake up every day wanting to do it. So it gets organized into your everyday life because that's a priority for you.
And even if it's 1 o'clock in the morning, you're like, you get to do it. You feel grateful. You have a grateful heart that
you're grateful
for people.
100%. Exactly.
Do you like getting like realtors feedback, like on how quickly or whenever it sells? Does that give fulfillment to you, knowing that? Like your help made them, sell their house?
I think, for me, I think people selling their home, it's such an enormous emotional situation that I really got into it because I loved helping the homeowner sell their home. Because it's a next step in their path. It's like their future in front of their face. So if they can get more money for their house, that's always a plus. And B, if they can sell it that much faster to move on to the next step, good or bad, the transitions are always the hardest. Like that moment of transitioning in your life, especially when you're moving from like your home and your haven to a new place. Right. So I kind of started it because of that, because I just love to do it. And I learned a lot in California when I put my own home up for sale. Like I thought I knew what I was doing. My realtor came and was like, well, this has to go. And that was like before staging really was created. And then I saw through her eyes what she was talking about. And I was like, my goodness, if more people understood that this is, it's an investment that you're trying to make money off of. It's no longer this like home and this, this place. You're going to create that somewhere else. So let's create a space for the new homeowner to walk into. So when my clients call me and they're like, the house sold in 3 days, or like my neighbors, they're like, we have 5 offers. I'm like, this is amazing.
That's great.
You're helping people. So it's the service industry. It always comes back to the service industry.
And it might be like one of like maybe a handful of times that it happens throughout their lives.
Yes, exactly. And it's always stressful and big. And that's why I like working with realtors that know what they're doing too, because that's an important thing.
And I can appreciate your vision and what kind of let you do your thing. Like, which is hard with the homeowners sometimes because they're and right now the buying and selling part is kind of, in Pennsylvania, there's a complete moratorium. In Jersey, they're still allowed to sell houses. There's not as much. So right now people's homes are their havens.
Yeah.
Are you seeing people come to you? Like a lot of people are having to make home offices. People are trying to get organized. I know that you do offer like organization services because, you know, your heart's in that. And also, you know, making spaces comfortable using what people have. So can you tell people like a little bit without giving up too many of like your tips and tricks?
No, absolutely.
This is something that people can, no matter where they are, they can go to, you know, at Carrie Locklyn and they can message you, email you, whatever. And they can say, okay, Carrie, here's my room. Like, what do I do with this? Where do I put things? What color should I paint it? Do I need a palm? I know you love palms. Every room, she's like, we should have a palm there. And I'm like,
yeah, you do. You need a traveling plant. Yeah.
We call it the traveling palm.
Yep.
Just you know, a couple, like I said, without giving too many of your secrets away.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first thing is that you have to be kind to yourself, because organization, just like working out or eating right, or, you know, getting up and doing your hair and makeup right now, like these are all, it's a learned situation and something that you need to practice. So I think the first thing is to be kind to yourself. Like, don't expect your house to look like Instagram. Like, get that completely off your head. And don't think that your closet or your pantry needs to look like Instagram in order to be organized. So that's my first thing, because what happens then is we create excuses. Oh, well, I don't have the labels in the boxes, and I don't have the exact pantry size, and my closet is smaller, and, you know, this room's not going to look as pretty. So we'll start to create excuses to not do it. So my first thing is be kind and know that you're going to have to practice, and organization is something that you have to just do every day. Everything has a home. So that's the first tool of everything, is find a home. Your hat has a home. Your keys have a home. Your shoes have a home, and they go to the same place, just like you go to the same place. You have a bed that you get in every night. Your shoes have a bed that they get in every night. The papers that you have a bed that they get every night. So once everything goes to its home, your house and your space will automatically become that much more organized. And then I say shop your house. It's a really great way. If you go around your house right now, I think I just did it with my pantry. I'm actually going to be putting up a video about it, but I went around and I shopped my house, because for 2 seconds I stood in front of my pantry and went, I mean, it's fine. It's working right now, but it was a mess. Like, I was like, this is a hot mess right now, staring at it. I have no idea what's going on. My husband.
Are you going to post it before?
Yes, I'll post it before. And the after, I think, is really important too, because I think we're so used to seeing befores and afters that like make you want to fall on the ground. Like, it's not that deep. Like, that's what I want to say.
Life. And that's what I like about you, is you are real. Like, that sounds, again, so cliche, but like, you're like, you know, the designer without the filter. Like, your stuff is beautiful, but it's relatable.
I mean, because if you can't live in it and you can't relate to it and you can't maintain it, what's the point of doing it? Because you can open up a book and say, this is how you organize, but you're going to organize differently than you're going to organize, then Becky's going to organize, that, you know, Joe's going to organize. Everybody's going to organize in their own way that works for them. And once you realize that, you will be kinder to yourself, and you'll start to realize, okay, this is the formula that works. I personally am not going to label things, because I just stare at labels and I'm like, this is weird. Like, yeah, like, I'm not a label. If in a garage, I'll label. In a filing cabinet, I'll label. In my home, I should be able to remember that that's where the hats go, and that's where the, you know, the crackers are. Like, I should know that because it's my home, you know? Yeah. So those are the biggest things for me. Is it's not really the actual act of organizing. It's the mental state before you start the organizing. And then as you go through it, I will also say that when we go in, we open up a closet or we go into a room, we'll often hear the word edit. Like, you need to go in and you need to edit and get rid of everything. But during that process of editing, you're also reevaluating what is in that space. And right now, I think that's a really important thing, because things that we may have kind of discarded before, we're like, oh, it's shoved in the back of the closet, our sweatpants, you know, our comfy sweaters, things that make us feel comfort right now might have been pushed back because, say, our work clothes or something like that were in the front. So when you're looking in your space, you can edit the space and then you can reevaluate the space. So a blanket that you might have lying around your house can now be pinned up on a wall for like a cool Zoom background or Skype background, you know. You can take,
Hey.
So you know, we're on the forefront.
You are, you're ahead
This is just debuting today.
Yes. So, I mean, that's the perfect example, though, where it's you had this chair that was sitting in the corner that was just this corner chair, and you walked past it a million times. And now you're like, you know what? I would love to find a moment to myself with children running around the house to read a book and have a coffee. And I don't want to just sit in my normal space because my home is now my outing. So let me take that corner in the bedroom and put a little side table from my other bedroom and take some books from this bedroom. And you kind of shop your home and reorganize things to make it work for you right now, because this is a different time.
Well, it's funny. I actually wrote that down because not only are
you really, are you taking notes?
Well, it was too good for me to forget this. No, because you're not only going into someone's house and you're organizing them and decluttering their house, but you're almost decluttering their mind as well. Because if you're like, I never thought about it that way. Your shoes have a home. Your keys have a home. It's like one less thing you have to remember. You're like, this is where my keys are every day. So you don't have to remember it. So you free up that space in your mind to remember something else.
Joe, I literally have that like written down somewhere, where I always say, like, people are like, why do you love organizing, or why do you love to even design? And I'm like, because you're literally checking off someone's mental checklist. So right. if you're constantly walking and going, oh, where is this? Where is this? If it has its home, like you just said, Joel, like it has its home. Like you don't have to. You don't think about brushing your teeth when you wake up. You just brush your teeth. So
your toothbrush goes back in the same spot.
Yeah,
when you're rushing out the door, it's not like, where are my keys? Where's my purse? Like if you put it in the same exact spot every time, like you said, you're freeing up your mind to do something more productive, something better.
Yeah. And also when you walk around your house, I think, you know, I've had a lot of kind of articles and news outlets ask me like, is your home super organized now? And I was like, it's kind of always organized. It's not, you know, it's not anally organized. Like it's,
first of all, mind your business. Sex on
yes. It's livable, of course. You know what I mean? It's always organized and functional. However, it's more important now that we really stay on top of maintaining our space, because just seeing clutter around a house will start to do something to your brain. And it allows, what it does is it takes the energy from whatever it is that you had on your to-do list that day, say maybe creatively for your family, for yourself, and it clogs that energy and it makes that energy foggy because you're looking at the stack of papers when you wake up and walk into your living room. You're like, oh, those papers. Where if they were put, you know, filed and put away, I'm not saying every single day, but I'm just saying if you maintain it as you go, it doesn't become overwhelming and it'll start to become your norm in your everyday life.
And I know you're a huge, I just remember this because I started doing it in my own house right after I met you, is like, you're a huge proponent of baskets.
Yes, I do love baskets. I use baskets for a lot of things. That's probably why I was able to shop my house so easily. I was like, oh, I have so many baskets.
I love how you just, for anybody listening just on the audio podcast, Carrie just looked around in the room to see if there was a basket in arm's length that she could just grab.
There's 3, but they have plants in them. One has blankets and the other 2 have plants.
But I did that with my kids' stuff. Is like I took these Montessori stars that I was like, you know, they came in a package, but I was like, what do I do with these? So I went to Target and I bought these little flexible baskets. So like at the end of the day, the stars just get tossed in the basket. And it's easy.
It's easy. And I think that's really the biggest thing, is that the easier it is, the more likely you're going to do it. And the easier, if you start them young too, my son will tell my husband, like, Daddy, that's not where it goes. Like it goes here. Like he knows where everything in his room goes and he keeps it that way. And it makes him prideful of the things he has and grateful for the things he has, but it also allows his brain, there's a certain part of his brain that's allowed to kind of shut off and relax because he knows all of his things are where it is. He's not walking into chaos. So it might be like, you know, play chaos where he just had a really good time in his room, but he knows that once we're done playing this, it's all going to go back into their home. So it even allows his little, his little brain to be able to relax and be creative, in the Lego part of his playroom versus like the drawing side of his playroom. Because I also say
so
that
important for kids right now. I mean, they are home 24/7. They're doing school from home. Like they need to feel some sort of control over their environment. And that's one way parents can give their kids control. I mean, you can order some baskets off of Amazon. You can see, like you said, shop your house, see what you have laying around, and just allow your kids to be a part of it. Do it with them.
Absolutely. And there's also actually, I was recommending, we've seen like these kind of rolling bar carts. You've seen them at like hairdressers have them when you would go, and they're like 3 different tiers. IKEA has them, Target has them, Bed Bath & Beyond. They're also a great way, like if you're working from home, but you don't want to keep your space in, maybe you don't have a room to make your office and you're working from home in your living room or in your dining or in your kitchen space. They're a great way to put everything that you have and then roll it into when you need it, pull it out, work, and then you put it right back in the rolling cart and
your laptop goes on like one shelf, your paperwork on the top.
Exactly. So you don't.
You can put all their homeschooling stuff in those carts.
And then it's not out in your face. It's a reminder of like, this is our new norm. It's just when you need it, it's your new norm. You do it and then you roll it back away, and then your brain can relax and move on to the next part of the day.
Instead of just leaving it laying out. And then, like my laptop, I wish I could show you guys, but it has little scribbles with permanent marker all over the top of it right now.
Yes. See, and it allows you as like a mom to have your own space, and these are my things, and don't touch anything in this cart, and then you roll it away, and then there you go.
That is a great idea. So, I mean, you always look so nice. You always look so together. But if you had to, I'm sure you've made mistakes along the way. Your biggest success and your biggest mistake, you can choose which one you tell us first.
My biggest success is believing in myself and not stopping. My biggest success is really every time I fell down or was told, nope, you need this, you need that, I went, you'll see one day, you'll see, like I'm going to get there. And it wasn't like a vengeance where I had to get there. It was just, I really believed my flow and what made me, just be alive was to help people through organization and design, and also, to do it on television, to get to a greater audience. And that's what I knew. So I trusted in myself to understand my flow. So that was my biggest success.
It's a good one.
I think that's in you. I think that's that Jersey girl.
Yeah. Oh, so Jersey girl. Like I'm so like Jersey proud whenever I go anywhere in the world. I'm like, we're good peeps. East Coast. Yep. I mean, everyone is. Everyone's wonderful. But
yeah, I think that grit is. Yeah, it's that Jersey girl grit.
It 100%.
I'll show you.
Yeah. And then I would say, as far as biggest mistakes, I don't like to necessarily look at mistakes as mistakes because I think they're so important because you learn so much. But I also know that's kind of a cop-out. But so I would say that my biggest mistake would be comparing my beginning to somebody else's middle. Or maybe, as like Maya Angelou says, like if you pick it up, then you have to put it down. So when you're starting off in any sort of new venture in your career or something that you're really taking a risk on, if you start comparing yourself to somebody else who's already halfway down the path and has already gone through everything you've done that you're now just starting to do, it can get real dangerous, and you can fall into a spiral very easily. And what that does is it prevents you from pushing yourself forward because your energy is just so concentrated on, well, how am I ever going to da-da-da? And they're doing da-da-da. And am I ever, you're just constantly putting your energy towards their middle instead of looking at your beginning. So I think that's probably at times I think we all kind of have those moments, but I think the other big mistakes I've done, I've learned so much that I do them again. Like I don't really think that there's like mistakes because
they're learning experiences.
They're all learning experiences. And
I should start asking people, what's your biggest learning
experience? Yeah. Because it is a thing where I mean, I've made moments where I'm like, well, that was probably a little bit of a waste of time, but I really wanted to try it or do it this way. Or I will say just lesson learned. Like, well, I'm not going to work with that type of person again. I'm going to trust myself that I shouldn't have taken that client on because I knew the moment I met them, but I needed to say yes because I'm a yes person, you know? So I think it's trusting myself as well. But
I think that's the entrepreneur. Everybody, like, you want to try it all and you want to do it all. And
yes,
all this energy and you want to do all these projects, but sometimes you have to learn what's productive, you know, what to focus on and what to leave behind and what to say no. There's the art of saying no. I think that's actually.
Yeah, it's such a good art, actually. I think I remember reading something like that too. It's like, list out everything you want to do and then go back over it and find the things that you actually don't want to do. But you keep telling yourself, like, I want to do this, I want to do that. And then your energy is split. Like, you need to organize your life goals and then, you know, or your business goals and then kind of break them down. Do you really want that? Because you're going to have to put energy into that. And if you're splitting your energy between everything else, it's not going to work. So,
right. Yeah. So for people just listening in, we have, Carrie Locklyn, who has been an amazing interview. You can find her at Carrie Locklyn and also at Gidge Living. And you are open for services right now. People wanted to use you to organize and do stuff and pick out paint colors, right? Like, you're open to people contacting you. A lot of people see too, like, very lofty, like, she's extremely down to earth and reasonable, and your house is not going to look like a museum. It's going to be, you know, geared towards you and your life. So I love her. And you can find us on iTunes, EAF, and also on YouTube, Soul Joel TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I want to end our wonderful, wonderful interview. Joel and I both, like if you were standing in front of a room in 10,000 people and they said you have one word that, like, basically, or a couple words that you can say to people, Joel's would be undeniable, and mine would be never give up. They said, Carrie, go out and just say one thing to this group. What would that one thing be? It would be joyful and always be smiling. There you see, I like that.
Love it.
That's Carrie in a nutshell. That is definitely Carrie in a nutshell. I told Joel, I'm so excited to have her on. The first time I met her, I was like, your energy, just yours everything about you. Your whole family. I'm like, when this is all over, we're gonna have to get together.
Oh, that'd be great. I want
to see the inside of your house. I've seen the outside, but I'm sure the inside is just as beautiful. It's been getting prettier.
As I let Deanna pick the guests, and you were the first person she said off the top of her tongue, and then 5 minutes later she had a book. So I love it.
Yes, anything. Thank you guys so much, and congratulations, and great background. And Dan, I'm loving your nursery. It's so pretty. I'm like,
I have twins. There's 2 cribs behind me.
I know. That's amazing.
Yeah. So well, thank you, Carrie, for coming on. Like I said, guys, rewind a little bit, check us all out. If you're feeling you need to get organized in your life, if you need some tips for starting your own business, this is the place to do it. So enjoy quarantine, guys, and hopefully I get to see everybody afterwards. I am Deanna Kozak, Carrie Locklyn, and Joel Richardson signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Entrepreneurs Fuck. To stay up to date on future shows, follow Soul Joel TV on Facebook and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. See you next time, and always remember, respect the hustle.